Ranking Member.
Thank you. And Ms. Hilton, one of the things that we've learned from the committee is that when we listen to people telling us about their own experiences, it can be very helpful and certainly enhance better policies for people like them. So I was honored recently to receive the Fostering Visionary Change Award from the National Foster Youth Initiative. They were really surprised when I told my own story and pointed out in reference to the testimony that has been so capably offered this morning that no social service agency ever checked on us. We just moved in with an aunt and a grandmother. But I want to reiterate the genius of Mr. Roosevelt's Survivor Benefits Initiative from Social Security, because that helped keep us together. And in reference to Mrs. Peterson's comments, both the people that I've just talked about with great reverence were very religious. And they just saw this not as an opportunity to do this or do that as much as it was, you're just supposed to do it. And they accepted that responsibility. So the value of your experience and Ms. Hilton's experience this morning, I want to give you a couple of minutes each, if you could, to talk about that as you've enhanced and advocated for those who fall outside the protection sometimes of the system. Ms. Hilton or Ms. Peterson?
Thank you for that question. I think for children of incarcerated parents, that's especially an important question to consider. Parental incarceration is an adverse childhood experience, or an ACE, just by having a parent who's incarcerated. And it's often necessary for family members to step in through informal kinship care, not through any system. And you are correct, one of the big challenges that children of incarcerated parents face is that there is nobody tracking them. There is no hub to consider their needs. They are very siloed in different systems. And one of the unique factors between the incarceration of men and women is what happens to their children when they're incarcerated. It is an ACE no matter who is incarcerated of the parents. But when a father is incarcerated, approximately 90% of the time, their children go to the children's mother, and they remain in the family. And when a mother is incarcerated, the children go to the father about 25% of the time. And 75% of the time, they are with somebody who is not one of their parents. About 10 to 15% of the time for mothers, that's foster care, and about 3% of the time for fathers, that's foster care. But what happens to that other 60% of children? You're correct that a huge number of them are in informal care, and the services just do not exist. Even basic legal services like creating guardianships, so whoever's caring for the child can take them to the doctor, so that they can access benefits, so that they can know what they're entitled to. And so that is a really important factor, and I appreciate you bringing that up.
One of the reasons I think it's so crucial that we lean on the church for this is because the value of Christian faith is hospitality. After I emancipated, people did not just give me clothes or come and furnish my apartment and peace out. They let me live with them, so I wasn't homeless, so I wasn't alone, so I had a family, and so I had an example of how to build a life for my family. When we grow up in dysfunction, it can be easy to know that we don't want that, but we often don't know how to get what we do want for our own family because we haven't had it modeled for us. I had people who let me into their home, who I could learn from firsthand, who modeled to me what a good family was so I could have it myself. Above all else, I believe that we need radical hospitality.
Ranking Member Neal, your story is so instructive because the vast majority of children who are living with relatives are doing so outside of the child welfare system. And our entire safety net, including all the programs under your jurisdiction, were designed with nuclear families in mind. And so kinship caregivers often struggle to get basic assistance that they need to care for children. I will also note that we tend to think of kinship care just as a placement resource versus an opportunity to prevent placement in the first place. Relatives can be wrapped around birth parents when they're struggling to prevent placement.
I think it's so important to listen to youth voices about foster care. It is so crucial because the ones who've experienced it are the ones who should have a seat at the table. They know the best, and I hope that everyone here prioritizes people with lived experience as they are the true experts.
Thank you. The committee